Hello, everybody. And I'm going to take you guys for a tour of all my shrimp tanks and a few guppy tanks. But this time I want to do an 8K. I have a new camera capability, 8K video. I've never shot it before. The only problem is my editing software will not yet support 8K. So this is just, all I have to edit is the pause button. We'll start in here at the newest of the tanks. This is my 75-gallon Blue Dream tank. And this is the tank that just a week ago I trimmed all the moss up nice and flat. You can see how it's starting to grow back already. And now just today there are literally clouds of seed shrimp in this tank. I've not seen hardly any seed shrimp in here at all. And now today there's literally clouds of them. So I think one of the things with this 8K is it's only 24 frames per second. There's a brand new little baby shrimp. Look at that little baby shrimp with all the seed shrimp. It's pretty cool. And then right over here next to it is my 110-gallon blue jelly tank. We're starting to get some algae growing in here, which is a good thing. And I was just looking before I started this video, and I saw my very first newborn baby shrimp in here. I put an algae wafer down in there for them. Got all of them gathering up. Blue jelly, this tank, this blue jelly pond is coming up on 2 months, I do believe. It's probably about 2 months old now. So it's really starting to get going pretty good. All right, that's it for the new stuff in my bedroom. Let's go to the living room. This is my 75-gallon green jade shrimp tank. And we also have some super red longfin pluckos in here. And look at these guys. We've got lots of good ones. I gotta try to hold this steady in 8K. And there's getting to be a lot of shrimpies in here. There's bunches on the moss. We got some algae coming off the filter. Going all the way down to there. Those crypts in the middle. Those are doing amazing. And look at all the little baby shrimp we've got here in the moss. We've got a lot of green jades coming up now. Excited about this tank for sure. All right, now let's go to the back of the house in the family room where all the rest of the tanks are. And now back here to the back of the house, this is what I like to call the shrimp fish room closet. And we'll start here with my Racket 8 40-gallon breeders. Up here at the top, we have my 40-gallon blue jellies. This thing has a little bit of algae in it, but let's take a look at these shrimp. Look at them. Oh my gosh. They're doing so good. There's so many of them. Blue jellies for days. It looks so good in this tank too. I know when I'm filming in 8K, this picture quality looks completely amazing. And then right next door, we have my orange neos. Let's take a look at those. These guys are really doing pretty good. Really doing pretty good. Still got to pick some of the reddish looking ones out. But we've got tons of shrimp in this tank. And they go all the way over there. That's pretty wild. All right, now we can get off the ladder and start doing the tanks below. Now this tank right below, this is my Super Red Pleco tank, Jungle Val tank, and my special breeding project with reds and blue jellies. It's really hundreds and hundreds of reds and a handful of blue jellies. I'm trying to make red blue realies. This one has a red butt and a little bit of red on his head. So we're starting to get there. And we have just regular red realies in here too. Let's see if we can find one. There's some good ones. There's one that's kind of not that great. But we've got some interesting things going on here. I've seen a couple that were really good looking. There's one that's not really that good, but it's starting to get there. We're starting to get what we're after in this tank. That's fun. This guy's got some red on him. Got red eyes. Here's a decent looking female, really. They do exist. We're getting somewhere. So I'm gonna let these guys breed out. When I get more, then I'm gonna set up separate tanks for the red realies and the blue red realies. This is the 40-gallon Blue Dreams tank. I have to actually make another filter for this tank, believe it or not. Look at how good these guys are doing. Yeah, we got a big Pleco sighting. Looking good. But what had happened is the power head, all these tanks are powered by power heads. All the 40 gallons are. Sponge filters with power heads. Well, my power head quit working. So right now this tank is just running off air and it's doing just fine. It's a little cloudy, but it was a little cloudy before. The moss is doing good in here. Look at all the little baby shrimp in the moss. A little bit of algae right here, but no biggie. And down here we have the 40-gallon blue. We have the green jades. This is the newest tank of green jades, and the long fin lemon blue-eyed plecos like to spawn a lot in here. I'm not complaining, but we got lots of little babies. Look at all these shrimp. There's been a lot more babies. I'm gonna have to go through and have another call session, but we've got lots of really, really rad shrimp in here. I'm super excited about. And look at the mermaid weed. The mermaid weed finally decided to take off in here. I have to trim that up. Run all the way up to the surface. Mermaid weed. Budwigia looking big and healthy in this tank. Exciting. So right here is my 40-gallon Bloody Mary. Look at all the moss here. And the shrimp in the moss. We also have long, thin green dragon plecos in here as well. Look at those Bloody Mary shrimp. Looking so good. And down here on the floor, this is what my blue velvets are. These are the shrimp that ain't quite good enough. I pull them out of the Blue Dreams, but they end up being pretty good. And you end up having a lot of really good shrimp breed out here. This is the blue velvets. Look at these guys. Wow. And then we got some algae going on in this tank. This tank is actually a bit of a mess right now. But the shrimpies love it like this, and I love to do whatever the shrimpies love to do. There's shrimp buried all the way in, all throughout that moss. Look at that shrimp there. That's perfect. It's a really good one. And then the tank beside it here on the floor is the Skittles tank. So here's my Skittles tank. This is where all the calls go, either for just being bad or for not being the best. Shrimp end up here for a variety of reasons. look at these guys here. Wow. All the shrimp that ain't quite good enough for whatever reason, for whatever line, they all come in here. And they're allowed to do their thing. They breed out, intermix. I get lots of cool one-off type of shrimp in here. Lots of fun. One of my favorite tanks for sure. And then on this side of the closet, we have 5 20-gallon longs. I'm still sitting here on the floor. We'll start down here. This is my special project orange tank. And this tank had been struggling for a long time, but really does have my best orange shrimp. It's just down here tucked away on the floor. But there are lots of really good shrimp in here for sure. Excited about it. And then right above that, we have my second snowball tank. This is more like a backup snowball tank, making shrimp for Skittles type of thing. We've got lots of good blue jellies, snowballs. If you were wondering, they're called snowballs because the females, when they're pregnant, their eggs look like little snowballs in their belly. That's how they get the name snowball. This is another one of my 20-gallon longs. This is a blue jelly tank. Lots of good shrimp in here for sure. Look at those guys. Yeah, I tell you what, these guys look super awesome in 8K. Super good. Wow. Then above that, we have one of my guppy tanks, Japan Blue. I do some interesting things in another tank with these guys, Japan Blue guppies. On top of that, we've got green jades, my 20-gallon green jade tank. This is where I try, I don't know if I'd call it a special project, but it kind of is. This is one of the tanks on the list to be redone next. So you want to see the green jade tank redone, go ahead and subscribe because that'll be coming up here pretty soon. So that's all the 20-gallon longs. On this side, we talked about all these 40-gallon breeders already. And over here on this side, we have 5 more 20-gallon longs. This is my special project fire red tank I just did in the last video. I reset this tank just a few days ago. And now all the pleco poop is visible. The shrimpies are doing good. And then below that, we have a Blue Dreams tank that I started, I think it was the end of the summer, beginning of fall area type thing. But these shrimp are beautiful. These were shrimp that were started with my special project Blue Dreams tank. But look at some of these. Oh my goodness. If you look back here, look inside the moss. Little blue jewels scattered all throughout this tank and this moss. It really looks so good. I'm so happy. I say that a lot. These shrimp just amaze me. They really do. Look at that. Wow. And below that, we have one of my very first guppy line I ever got. I still have it. Red mosaics. And then some cool stuff with these guys in another tank as well. We'll get to eventually. I need to go through and cull my guppy lines. I haven't been staying on top of that as much as I should. So they'll be doing that here soon as well. And there's a few shrimp in here, it looks like. So this is the Bloody Mary special project tank. And when it got restarted, it had a bit of an algae issue, and we're still kind of fighting that. So we got some really good Bloody Marys in here. I don't know if we're going to be able to see any right this second. Yeah, there we go. So hey, there's lots of little babies that I saw. Well, maybe not lots, but they're starting to breed back out, and that's awesome. Then down here on the floor, we got a tank that needs to be gone over here pretty soon. We got a little bit of algae. I put a super bright light. This is a little 20 gallon long with a 40-watt light, and you can't really see much anything. It's just overcome with moss, but look at how good they look. Look at that. Looks so good. So that was that for the closet. So we come over here into the family room. And this is my 110 gallon stock tank guppy pond. And this right here, look at this giant plant. This is an Anubias growing immersed. Got a flower. And this thing is enormous. I figured it would get big, but I really did not think it would get that big. And this is if you get any plants on my website, markshelleyproducts.com, especially if you get mermaid weed. Look at the mermaid weed. The mermaid weed is taking over the pond, and I am super thrilled about that. We've got all kinds of super cool guppies in here. There's probably 50 bristlenose plecos in here. We got some rotellets growing up wild, and we got some duckweed collecting there. But I get so much enjoyment out of this 110 gallon stock tank. And then I turn around, and this is the first of my shrimp ponds. We got a little bit of algae growing up in here, but not a lot. Take a look at all these Bloody Marys. These are all Bloody Mary shrimp in here. Thousands. I haven't even harvested any. I set this up in March, and now we're in December, and I have not harvested any shrimp out of here yet, because my 40 gallon is what I typically sell shrimp out of on my website, markshelleyproducts.com. And that tank is very, very productive, and I haven't even had to get into these yet. Let's see, we got a nice big clump of them down there. Look at how good they are. I just called out probably about 50 or 60 of them last night. So that is doing good. And look at these crypts. Florida Sunset crypts. If you pull back, see the crypts are taking over the entire stock tank. That's super awesome. Those crypts are growing so fast. Then we've got the 420 highs rack. Down below that, the 75, and then a 20 long on the floor. So right here on this 20 high, now I've been letting algae grow. This tank and the next tank do not have any plecos, so there's getting to be some algae growing, and the algae, the little baby shrimp like the algae, so I'm going to just let it grow wild, let the algae grow. I'm trying to breed shrimp. Every once in a while I'll scrape the front, but look at them, oh my gosh. So pretty. And then right next to that, this tank has a lot of algae, but for good reason. Look at the snowballs now. Look at all these little snowball babies. All the way on the front. Look over here. Babies, 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 babies. And look at that. There's an algae wafer right in the middle of the moss. Lots of snowballs. This is my special Project Blue Dreams, where I keep resetting it over and over and over again, trying to breed the very best. And as the Blue Dreams do, they're already breeding back out. We've got little tiny babies. Little tiny babies. Super rad shrimp. Super excited. And now this next 20 long, it might be the tank I am most excited about of all my tanks. And it's not even a shrimp tank. We're going to come over here on the side and look at these guys. So, mind you, I've been doing guppies way, way, way longer than I've been doing shrimp. But apparently I'm a lot better at shrimp because guppies never went anywhere for me. But for years, I was trying to create this mixing my Japan blues and my red mosaics on the Japan blue body with the red mosaic tail. And I've got the perfect mix down. I've got the genetics right. Every single shrimp in here is growing up to have Japan blue and red mosaic tail to some extent. Now, these old ones with the raggedy tails, they're the old original males that I found. Now, my guppy pond, I had a bunch of these guys that were popping up in my 110-gallon stock tank. I wanted to find a way to recreate them. So I pulled some out, and I ended up pulling a bunch of little virgin females. They're just little tiny itty bitty babies. No chance they could be pregnant yet. And I ended up having to pull some because some ended up being males. But then I let them grow up with these guys in here, with the originals that are pretty old and raggedy looking, but they used to be just as good as these guys when they were young. And they made all these offspring. This is unbelievable to me. And some of these even have like the big ear, black pectoral genetics that there's one. There's some that are better than others. I don't know if I'm going to go for that or not. I kind of think my personal favorite ones, let's see if I can find it. Oh, it's going to be hard because they don't want to cooperate. You can only see their colors good when they get in the light over here. But I love these guppies. I really do. This is my 75-gallon red Sakura shrimp tank. These are tanks that are really good red shrimp. Just the males just ain't quite good enough to be fire red, and it takes a lot of effort to have good enough males that you can call fire red. So I create a whole bunch of good shrimp in this 75-gallon tank. So would you just look at them? Lots of beautiful red shrimp. Hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of shrimp in the moss. Looking good. Looking real good. And we also have a breeding pair of long fin lemon blue-eye plecos in here. And down here on the floor, we've got the orange 20-gallon long tank that just got reset. And look at all these little babies in this tank already. This tank is exploding. Lots of them. Lots of little guys. We already got dozens of shrimp in here. This mermaid weed in here is looking really good. This thing was just reset not that long ago, and it's bouncing back and doing super good already. This is the last tank, the 29-gallon painted tank, and just last week I trimmed this jungle val perfectly flat. Just last week. Look how many have grown. In exactly 7 days. It was exactly a week ago today that I did this. And it's already grown back like crazy. Look at that. So that was a quick run through of all my tanks. I mainly wanted to see how this would work in 8K video. Super excited to try this feature out on my new camera. So we'll see how it turns out. I made it as quick as possible because this file size is going to be enormous. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.